orangery, I love the utopia-y, and I love the strong shapes of the trees and the way they've been clipped. I was thinking that the shapes themselves were very beaker-like, and so they're informing the shape of my design. I really like this lavender, from the small details of the head to the sea of purple that you see ahead of you, and the fact that a small detail makes up a larger whole picture. And it's the same sort of thing that I'm looking at in the house, small elements that make up bigger pictures, bigger pieces.
Belton's one of the great houses of the Restoration period. It's probably the best example surviving of that architecture, that very sort of graceful, slightly Dutch classical form. The family here, the Brownlow and Cust family, never suffered from lack of money, and so it's a remarkable thing the house is as unchanged as it is externally. Internally, every generation has left its mark decoratively and in furnishing, in terms of furnishing collections. There are magnificent collections here. I always quote Belton as being a really good example of a top-grade country house. It has a bit of everything and some things that are really excellent.
The success of the Studio Silver exhibition so far, it's a series of 5 exhibitions in 5 National Trust properties, and the purpose is to engage the public with the living craft of silver by having an artist silversmith in residence, together with an exhibition of their work. This last exhibition will be at Belton House and will feature Angela Cork, silversmith, as our artist silversmith in residence. What we decided was to choose those properties that had really good antique silver collections. So the public would view the antique silver collection and then view the Studio Silver exhibition. And the difference, of course, is that antique silver is all about silverware, things that you use on the table. It's a statement of how wealthy you are, how fashionable you were, etc., etc. But today, modern silver is about the artist, and so you're falling in love with the work of the artist rather than showing off how wealthy you are or that you're in the latest fashion. It's a question of taste much more rather than showing off.
Goldsmiths is a variety of things to me. It's the place where I have to get my hallmarking done, which is the thing you do to silver to say that it's of a certain standard, and I've been doing that for years, and that is a really quite important thing because it's going to trace through time all of the pieces that I've ever made, and in say 100 years someone will be able to identify that this piece that I've made is mine through my maker's mark.
People love, absolutely love to see a craftsman working.
A lot of my collection are hand fabricated, and I use a lot of traditional silversmithing skills and tools, but in a very precise way, almost like an engineer would work. So I do a lot of measuring out, using engineer's squares and scribing tools to kind of map out the silver, and I'll perhaps do some cutting with the piercing saw. Then I'll do some annealing, so I'll soften the material with a torch to get it to be manipulative. I have collected a range of hammers and formers, and it's an ever kind of changing thing, so every time I have something new to make I might need to source a different former. If you talk to a lot of makers, particularly silversmiths, they will say that they were that child in their shed of the grandparents that were, hammering bits of wood together and sawing things up to make mini aeroplanes, or, always wanting to tinker about and do stuff. One of the things that I was drawn to in the house were the balusters on the staircase, and they're oak and they've been hand carved, and they've got a really beautiful, soft, curvaceous nature. I'm really drawn to these hand carved laurel and oak leaves in the organ of the chapel.
What might be considered a slightly arcane art and something that is only for the very, very wealthy is something that absolutely fascinates people. I think precious metals and their working into useful vessels, or even just beautiful vessels, is something that is innate in a lot of us, an appreciation of that.
By the time the series is finished, over 500,000 members of the public will have seen modern silver for the very first time. And of course, we are immensely proud in this country that we are the leading country in the world for modern silver design.